Hey, how's it going today? Today we're gonna play some games with Lost Goodra. In this first match, we unfortunately we have to go first. I would like to go second with all Lost Zone decks. It's just I don't know if it's necessarily always correct, but it does feel a lot more comfortable. And from the mulligan, luckily we have a mulligan. We know that this is future hands or future box, assuming it's future hands. And right off the bat, we get kind of a weird Comfey. I decide to keep Counter Catcher because we're most certainly going to go behind in this matchup. And my plan for right here is to just build up a Goodra over the course of a few turns. I'm just kind of debating the risk reward of retreating the Comfey into another Comfey and trying to get to Mirage Gate quicker, or just manually attaching over the course of 3 turns to my Goodra and building it up, because I don't want to put so many one prizers in play that they can just win with a couple Ampuberry Muches and they're going to have a really hard time knocking out my Goodra. So this way I should basically be guaranteed to get a Goodra up and going within a couple turns, whereas I'm not even guaranteed to draw a Colress the other way. So they have a pretty good start going on here. They're just kind of doing all the things. What I'm explaining there is they need at least 3 Iron Crowns in play, or 2 Iron Crowns and a future booster capsule. They need to do 220 into Goodra's Rolling Iron attack. 220 is the lowest damage you can do and still be able to actually 2-shot Goodra. We top deck Colress, that's pretty nice. So I'm probably just going to keep those 3. Metal, Colress, Roxanne seems good. The only debate is the Jet Energy because I don't have a switch in my hand. But the Roxanne is really good in this matchup because they might go down to 3 prizes next turn. And I Flower Select before evolving because that's the way you're supposed to sequence it. I decided I don't want to get rid of another energy. Let's attach and evolve and pass. And pass. There we go. Alright, let's see what they do on their turn. They did miss the generator, so that's going to make it a little harder for them to get the Ampuberry Much for 2 prizes off. We wouldn't mind them getting 2 prizes on Comfey, but they do boss up our Goodra, which is annoying. They hit into it for 100. That's not enough to 2-shot us, but it is like letting them accelerate without knocking out our Comfeys, so that's pretty good for them. And then, yeah, we hit pretty good Colress. I think I switched the switch for a Roxanne. So we don't need too many switches in this matchup. We only need 1 more Mirage Gate, really. 1 or 2. And I don't know, I kind of get ahead of myself here because I see the Lost Vacuum and I'm like, oh, I can just Counter Catcher up the Iron Hands and knock it out. But I play the Counter Catcher first and then realize, wait, I don't have a Defiance Band. So that's unfortunate. And I'm just debating, but yeah, I definitely want to bench that second Goodra in case any crazy stuff happens. I don't need to Moisture Star, because if they just hit into me with Iron Hands, there's no way he can do enough damage to knock me out through Rolling Iron. And if they do like some Prime Catcher boss stuff, we would really like to have saved our VSTAR anyway for the next Goodra. And they do get boss. They're just debating, and of course, out of their 3-card hand, they get Prime Catcher boss. You gotta love it. And they're just going to be able to take 2 prizes on us here, but that's fine. It puts them into Roxanne range. And I'm just debating what I promote here because I have no switch in hand. I have gotten rid of a couple switching cards. So we'll just promote Comfey, Buddy Poffin to make sure I have the energy in my deck. And just check out what's going on. See that I have the Defiance Band. So I really want to hit Goodra VSTAR, Defiance Band off this Roxanne. I for some reason think that I can play Mirage Gate already, but I just vacuum the Heavy Baton first, play the Mirage Gate, because I wanted to do that before Comfey to thin my deck out a little bit. And here I'm going to Super Rod back in just a Goodra VSTAR, because that's really all I want for Pokemon and Energy. I just want to hit a Goodra VSTAR and Defiance Band, and then I just essentially win on the spot. I get rid of Comfey or Buddy Poffin and keep Comfey because Comfey's like a real card that could actually be valuable. And we'll Roxanne and we whiff. So I slam the Greninja without even thinking about it and use it, and we don't hit anything, and this doesn't seem good. But unless they have any crazy plays, they can't knock out the Goodra V through the rolling shell. And this does set it up for like a Greninja snipe, but they immediately just have Arven for another heavy baton, so that's unfortunate to see. But we're still in a fine spot. We have our VSTAR power, and we're not really behind, or yeah, we're only behind one prize. Sorry, I had like a little stroke there. Yeah, I'll take the Colress because all I want to do is dig deeper for stuff like Crisis Punch and maybe like a Water Energy or something next turn to, if like I have to Greninja at any point. I would love to Greninja this turn. That would be really good. Or if we top decked the Goodra V-Star, I would have bossed and knocked out the other Iron Hands, because that one's going to be a real pain to knock out unless they make a mistake and like Ampy very much one of my bench Pokemon, which I don't know if they'll end up doing. They have been playing pretty good with the way that they like left the Comfey in play, so that they're always guaranteed to have, so I can never get down to lone Goodra. Like they've been playing good, but they attach to the benched Iron Hands and put down 2 more crowns. And yeah, I really wanted them to counter catch or something and knock it out. We would just have win on the spot, but they don't. So all I can do really here is boss up their Iron Hands and hit into it. Because the way that my hand is set up, I can win next turn with Greninja even if they retreat. And really what I should have done, now that I'm watching it back, I should have super rodded and played double gate onto 1 onto my Comfey and 3 onto my Greninja. That was because they probably play Iono. I know I was playing like 1 or 2 Ionos in my Iron Hands list, and I think I saw other people playing like at least 1, but I could be wrong. But they immediately slam the Arven, so unless they can double counter catcher, we win, or we have win in hand, and makes me kind of nervous. And they retreat, so they do not have it, which is good to see. And we have everything we need in hand, so I just super rod just to be safe. It never hurts to just have extra energy when you're finishing off the game. It'd be real embarrassing if I Mirage gated and didn't have the energy in my deck. So put him on Greninja, we'll switch, and Moonlight Shuriken for the game. I thought this might be like a bad matchup, but it didn't seem too bad after playing it. Like we drew bad and still won, so maybe it's not that bad at all. This is the list that I was playing. It's based off of the juniors winning EUIC list and just what I was working on with Goodra. I switched his list up a little bit. I took out the second vacuum and something else for 2 Pokégear, and I switched an Iono for a Roxanne. Yeah, but we're only really trying to use 1 or 2 Goodra V-Stars at the most now. We're more relying on that to take maybe a couple prizes, and then Cram and Greninja and Zamazenta to take a couple, and then Crisis Punch can also get a couple prizes, so we don't really need like the 3/3 Goodra like we used to. And the rest of the deck is just basically, you know, Lost Zone engine stuff to keep the deck going. Alright, so we were forced to go first again, and while I was talking about the deck, all you missed, I just played Artisan, got a Comfey out with the Artisan, and took a Mist Energy off it, because this is Roaring Moon EX, so I'm definitely going to want Mist Energies. We saw a Temple of Sinnoh in the mulligan, so, you know, we got to be afraid of that. We kind of want to win the Stadium War, or like just hope that they don't get it when they need it. But I'm going for the triple Comfey here so that I can try and start attacking with Goodra next turn, because the little Roaring Moons are very difficult to knock out. Like, I'm not going to be able to cram them. All that I can knock them out with is Zamazenta or Goodra, and either way, I'm going to need to use a Mirage Gate to do it. So I bench Goodra since Goodra has to evolve. And they start going. This deck is pretty consistent, so I'm expecting to be attacked next turn. That's why I used all 3 Comfey last turn, just to make it that much easier to get a Mirage Gate off. And they do have the Sada, but only for 1, so that's good. They don't have much else. They just take a knockout. Alright, so we top deck another energy. Greninja would be really nice to have right now. And we get basically everything we need to attack, so I just like grab those cards as quick as possible. And here I'm debating between Nest Ball and Boss. I think I want to keep the Nest Ball because, I don't know, I have Counter Catcher and Prime Catcher, and I'm probably just going to want to knock out whatever that they're attacking with, really. And I want to get down a second Goodra in case they do get the Roy X off. And I'm not able to even attach the miss because I don't have a switch, so that just makes it that much more likely that we'll get the attack off. And I forget to Artisan. I should have Artisan for Zamazenta. I would like to have that Pokemon in play. We do get Prime Catcher off the prizes, so that's nice to see. That's always a good card to have. Artisan kind of ends up helping out our opponent more than it does us in this game, as it often does. That's kind of one like last format, I didn't play Artisan in some decks, or in high counts in some decks, just because I always felt like it was helping my opponent way more than it was helping me, and then by like helping my opponent it was just hurting me. But of course they do have the double dark patch into the moon. It's like they're halfway through their deck, so it's pretty likely they would have that combination of cards. But that does immediately put them in Roxanne range. So we're hoping to hit a Roxanne off this Pokégear. And I'm just going to check the deck with Artisan. Or I guess not, I'm just going to grab a Cram because that guarantees the knockout. And I'm debating if I Super Rod Mirage Gate first, but I Flower Selecting so I can get further into the deck. And I take Defiance Band. I think I take, yeah, so that I can knock out a Roy Moon that hadn't damaged itself with like Prime Catcher or something. And we are able to get into Roxanne with Pokégear, so that is good. And I just put back energy. I probably should have also put back a Goodra VSTAR there, because I would like to get that. And I attach active so we have the guaranteed knockout. And we would have missed the knockout too if I didn't. So that's lucky. There's like plenty of energy in this deck, so I can always attach a Jet or a Mist or whatever next turn. And we'll just retreat and attack with Cram. And hope that Roxanne did what it's supposed to do. We get Lost Vacuum off the prizes. That's pretty good. I've been wanting to get this stadium out of play. And they draw into a Dunsparce, which we didn't really want to see, but what can you do? They're bound to get something. They thin their deck out a lot, and this is a pretty good engine. We're just kind of hoping to get a free turn, or at the very least, only have them knock out our Cramorant. We wouldn't really mind losing that. And then we can just hope to get Mist Energy, Goodra next turn, or if they don't evolve either Dunsparce, we can go for Greninja. That would be very nice. So I'm just checking my resources. I do have double water in the deck. I'll Pokégear to thin it out because all I want is water. Mirage Gate, I already have the super out of my hand. I want to knock out both those Dunsparces, and we get it. We also get the Mist. So that's good. So we would have the Mist Energy anyway, but we do know that they have Sinnoh. So they could easily just play Sinnoh and knock us out with Roy X if they have the cards to be able to do that. I'll put back 2 medals and a Goodra VSTAR, because after this turn, all I'm really going to want is a Goodra VSTAR. And I wanted to, you know, just have another energy in my deck for retreats, Greninja, whatever situation I might run into. And they just concede as soon as they see that. They probably should have waited to see what we did. I mean, I guess the only logical play is to knock out both Dunsparce, but I always just like to confirm that my opponent actually picks the right targets before scooping. But yeah, that's also Goodra. It's pretty good. I wish it had a better Charizard and Chi-Pao matchup. Maybe you can chain Zamazentas against Chi-Pao, and the TM Devo should help against Zard. I haven't tried it as much as I would like to yet. But yeah, take care.